It's Dan Arthur here for the I Love St. Pete Facebook group. If you're a business owner looking to connect with tens of thousands of potential new local customers, you owe it to yourself to get enrolled in our Key Tag Rewards program. Since 2019, we've signed up more than 200 local merchants. Sponsor opportunities are available too, such as our group banner ad and even your own custom key tags. Just go to stpetekeytag.com, get enrolled, and get ready to get busy. stpetekeytag.com.
Enter the pit! Unanimous decision. In the red corner, Divas, the Rage for Rivas. The blue corner, Jonathan, the Young Blood Bro.
Dennis King.
Gabriel, the toughest animal, Sarah.
Is that the Wolverine, the toughest animal? It's got to be, right?
It's very interesting to see what his approach is to this bout tonight.
Rock and roll.
Let's get our official decision.
Unanimous decision in the red corner. Gabriel, the toughest animal, Sarah. In the blue corner, Maximo Nunez. Red corner, Teak, the Black Dragon Silva. Fighters, enter the pit. Your winner in a split decision. In the blue corner, Maximo Nunez. In the blue corner, Jesus, the Beast, Lopez. In the red corner, Gabriel Stankunes. Enter the pit.
Got the decision, and we're going to go down into the pit to make this one official.
Your winner in a unanimous decision in the blue corner, Jesus the Beast Lopez. This is your main card in the blue corner. Marchek, the Karate Kid, Turchek. In the red corner, Bruno, the Tiger Souza.
This is an extremely even fight on paper here.
Enter the pit. Winner in a unanimous decision in the red corner, Bruno, the Tiger Souza. In the blue corner, El Haji, the Black Magic Endor.
To push and to endure. I was talking to the audience here.
In the red corner, Atrop, the Wolf, Ocean. They second round knockout. Atrop, the Wolf, Ocean.
Oh, wow. So I was wrong. I thought it was the third round, but it was the second round.
It was
Wow.
The blue corner, Raymond, the real deal,
So the man who
Fighters, enter the pit. In a unanimous decision in the blue corner, Raymond, the real deal, Daniel.
so the win
Is your main event, your super fight, champion versus champion. In the blue corner, let's all go to church. Josh, the preacher, Hagen.
This is your welterweight champ.
The corner, the lightweight champion of the world, Luis, the Pitbull Rocha. Fighters, enter the pit. A majority decision. In the red corner, Luis, the Pitbull Rocha.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television here on a Tuesday night. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. And how do we start off this show as we always do on the Evolution live here on I Love St. Pete, the hub, and Amped Up Sports. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. On tonight's show, we'll be talking about what else? Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. How about those Buccaneers?
How about them Bucs, baby?
2-0, of course, defeat the New Orleans Saints on Sunday, 20-10. I can't get enough of it. Can you get enough of it? You know, the only reason why I didn't come on Monday night is because, well, you know, I thought there was going to be some good football games on. That didn't happen. Both blowouts. Thanks a lot for participating, Tennessee Titans and Minnesota Vikings. Somebody should have told them that both of those teams they faced, it's a buzzsaw right now, especially with the Buffalo Bills and the Philadelphia Eagles playing out of their mind. But I get it; it's early in the season, you know. Oh, you're over. You're a little bit too excited, Pete, about this Bucs team as they're 2-0. No, I'm not. Not at all. Not when you take care of business and go on the road and defeat the Saints in the way you did. And it didn't matter if you had Donovan Smith. Nope, he's not going to play. Josh Wells. Nope, he's not going to play. We're going to be down to the third string tackle, and he's going to go out there and kick ass. What about Julio Jones and Chris Godwin? You got to have those guys? Nope. Even Mike Evans, of course, goes in the fourth quarter there. And we'll get back to that because we'll see what the status of Mike Evans is on Sunday, as it looks like he could be suspended for that one game. But you didn't have him. You find a way to get it done. You find a way to win in the Big Easy, which has not been easy. So I want to hear from you tonight. I know we did a post show. We had some tech issues. That's okay. Once again, thanks a lot for being patient with the new laptop. Thanks a lot for being patient with me. I need to be patient because I was ready to throw this computer out the door. But we're back. We're doing our thing as always. And I want to hear what you have to say tonight, because there's been news all day long. matriculating, Leo Word. Looks like the Bucs are going to sign Cole Beasley, who the last 2 seasons has had 80 catches. What do you think about the signing? What does it say about this team right now when it comes to wide receiving depth? We hear that Beasley was on Brady's radar, going all Britney Spears on us. He's on my radar. I don't know how I know that. I got sisters. But seriously, is it a good signing? What do you guys think? And then Akiem Hicks looks like he's going to miss a month, according to Adam Schefter, with a torn plantar. And I'm just going to say torn plantar at this point. I'm not going to even try to pronounce that and mess it up. It's a foot injury. It's going to keep him out for a month. What should the Bucs do? Run with what you got? Or go out and sign in Ndamukong Suh? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Got on the show, said it was a cheap shot by Mike Evans. But you know what? To come to think of it, looking back at it, I really enjoyed it. I did. You know, because we as Bucs fans have watched the Saints and Saints fans push us around long enough. And you don't put your hands on the quarterback. Not the greatest of all time. You just don't do it. So Mike Evans did what a great teammate does. Shocking, right? I mean, he's the ultimate teammate by far. Taking restructures, trying to free up money for this Bucs team. He's done it for Winston. He did it for Brady. What do you think about it? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. I enjoyed it. I like it. I like the physicality of this team. I like the defense punching another team in the mouth. Was it an ugly win? Was it pretty? No, it wasn't. But guess what? It's a win. So we say this.
How about them Bucs, baby?
And I want to hear from you tonight. I'll tell you what, let's go out to the comments as I see my co-host there, Mr. Harry the Greek. Let's read these comments, and then we'll get out to him. A wild week of National Football League action. Plenty of comebacks, plenty of surprises. But if you watch the over-under, you may have won some money because Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire, told you that the Cincinnati Bengals were not going to be as good as they were last year. Uh-oh, I think he's right. Can somebody block for Joe Burrow? I mean, they're going to have to start dragging offensive linemen off the street. Just get some big fat guys at this point because whatever the Bengals are doing, it ain't working. 13 sacks in 2 games. You're going to be lucky if he makes it throughout the whole season. So we'll go around the NFL. We'll talk about those games last night with Harry the Greek and with you. I'm here. Where is Troy Polamalu? No idea. But this is what you get, Roger.
Acknowledge me.
Bible troll in the house. And then if you troll me, you get this.
Shut up!
All right, Christopher Cole says, hey, what's up, everyone? What's going on? Let's go out to Christopher again. Finally got the dub in New Orleans. Exactly. How does it feel on Victory Tuesday, Victory Monday, Victory Tuesday, Victory Wednesday, Victory Thursday, Victory Friday, Victory Saturday? How does that feel, Bucs fans? Are you excited about it? I'm excited about it. You get it off your back. You don't have to hear from those Saints fans on Facebook with all their stupid excuses. How they win in the regular season. Great. Not on Sunday, you didn't. Cool opening. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Tim goes.
Woo!
Go Bucs. All right. Good stuff there. Roger says Bucs are injured trash, and this is what you get for that.
Shut up!
Jeremiah says, hello, everyone. Christopher Cole, defense dominated. Yes, that is the story. The defense dominated. 3 interceptions, including a pick 6 by Mike Edwards for 67 yards to the house. We'll get into Devin White's comments. Which, by the way, you know, I get it. There's Bucs fans out there still, Jameis Winston fans, and that's okay. But let's not forget what type of quarterback he is and what he was for this team. Let's not forget that. So we'll go into Devin White. Was he wrong? There's a guy on this team that thinks he was kind of wrong. So we'll talk about that. Tim says, we only had one offensive lineman from last year on the O-line Sunday. Great stuff. Christopher Cole. Ray Starter exits the game tonight. Ray's having all kinds of difficulty with the Houston Astros, which stinks because they're in the middle of a playoff chase. They got beat last night. They're getting beat tonight. I love that we can finally win ugly games. It's a win, right? Nothing pretty about it. It's a win. I'll take them all day long. Let's see. Hit the like button. Absolutely hit the like button. We will do that.
Acknowledge me.
Go out to Tim here. Jameis, best game for us. I see Mr. Harry the Greek right there. I think he's off. So definitely want to hear from you guys, as always, about this game. Because once again, I had lots of fans text me in the Facebook Messenger during the game. What's going on? What's happening? I'll tell you what, we'll get back to that in a moment. Let's go out to my co-host. Here we go. All right, Mr. Harry, the Greek professional handicapper extraordinaire. Welcome to the evolution of sports talk television after the Bucs and a decisive victory over the New Orleans Saints. But I tell you what, let's go ahead and go out to the phone lines really quick. Let's get this guy on because you may be familiar with him. Best of the Bay, Mr. Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy. Welcome to the evolution. We are with yours truly, along with Harry the Greek professional handicapper extraordinaire. Your thoughts on not only the news today that is happening, but also the Tampa Bay Buccaneers getting that win versus the Saints. Go, Ray.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Harry.
Hey, Harry. Hey, brother. Hey, huge win, but I'm not one of these people. I like the team to win on merit, but come on. That penalty against Levante in the first quarter when he was trying to keep the runner from gaining the yard to gain for first down, and they call him for no helmet to helmet, just an aggressive tackle to stop the forward progress, and they call it a personal foul. Lattimore was raping our receivers all afternoon. No calls in the first half. I love the fact that when Tom slams the tablet, it almost seemed to like put a timestamp on the game, and then all of a sudden the fight happened, and then the officials, they started calling it like they saw it. It evened out.
Well, you know what, Ray? I got to tell you, man, it happened on both sides of the ball, to be honest with you. And I know exactly what you're talking about. The NFL has taken the defense completely out of the equation here. They want to score points, and they're going to score point at any cost. Okay. Now you can't even engage. A defender cannot even engage anybody on the offense, whether a receiver or a tight end, anywhere near their blind side if they're engaged with somebody else, even if you brush up against them. And I got to be honest with you, I think the referees are only, it's like, what specials today? Okay, we're going to call this all day long. And then they're going to forget about the other 10 things that they implemented. I think it's a big joke.
Well, I think also they're the reason why it got out of hand, where you see Mike Evans defend Tom Brady after Marshawn Lattimore puts his hands on him. Leonard Fournette gets in there. If you call the proper penalty at the right time, which, by the way, Lattimore should have been called for interference against Scotty Miller. They didn't call it. Of course, BA was upset. That's become an issue at this point, according to Mike Florio.
Yeah, and there's also issues now. They're just saying he had no business being on the sideline. I mean, it's all these things. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's like a soap opera. It's like when the Bucs world turns. I mean, it's just unbelievable the way they want to run it.
World
And
turns.
And Ray's I'm gonna take a little bit of Ray's thunder here, but good luck with Mike Evans getting 1,000 yards this year now. Good luck.
Well, I think he'll still get it. Honestly,
He's got 60 yards on the year. He's going to miss a game. It's going to be going into week 4. And Ray, you and I were talking about it. Go ahead and hit on that.
Go ahead, Ray.
No, I mean, the problem is he's got so few in the first 2 games. He's suspended for game 3. He's already got 14 games left. And teams are going to double Mike because until we get a healthy Julio Jones or Gage, until we get Godwin back, they're doubling up on Evans. But, you guys are right to work it back to look, Lattimore, Scotty Miller he was forced out of bounds egregiously. He'd have caught that ball in stride. There's no doubt. Now, of course, he still would have had to catch it. But you got to give the guy a chance to catch it. If they throw the flag on that play, the fight never occurs. Tom never goes to the sidelines. BA never says anything. And Harry, you're right. They're taking the defenses out of the game. But here's the thing. Just because the NFL has been milking this Lattimore and Evans drama for 3 years now, they love it. They love the fact that every time these two play, they go at it. But you cannot not make egregious calls to continue that drama and then be surprised when the drama bubbles over to a fight. It's the stupidest thing ever. And to suspend Mike Evans because the NFL officials failed to call the plays because they love that drama, that's the bull crap. That's
you got a great point. You looked at it from the other side of the coin that I wasn't going to look at it, Ray. Number one, I was shocked that he got suspended. Let me throw that right out there. He never threw a punch. He led into him and pushed him. Now, could he have been ejected from the game? And that should have been it. Period. Just in my opinion. No one's talking about what precipitated this entire thing. Forget about you're right, the call and everything else. If you remember correctly, Tom Brady was jawing at the idiot for New Orleans. And then when he started approaching him, and here comes Mike Evans, he was going to go protect his quarterback. If Tom Brady doesn't open up his trap there, that fight never happens. I personally believe that.
Well, I mean, and it's not just Tom Brady, it's BA also, because they were upset with the officials and they were upset with Lattimore.
Yeah.
And Lattimore started talking trash to BA. And then, of course, it went over and seeped over to Tom Brady. And we know that Tom Brady was upset. He was frustrated the whole game. He was yelling at offensive linemen. He was yelling at everybody he could yell at besides his wife. Just saying at that point. Probably a good thing.
Look, that little scuffle that happened on the field. First off, Mike Evans should not even be suspended. That's just my opinion. He never threw a punch. Okay, and I'm not saying it was a bad thing. I mean, Tom Brady's not a church boy. Of course, you're going to go out and get your team fired up. I don't have a problem with it. I think shame on the NFL for suspending him for the game. That's just my opinion. And I'm not trying to sound like a homer, but he didn't throw a punch, man. I mean, when Gardner Johnson, whoever that thug is that played for New Orleans in the past 4 or 5 years,
Gardner Johnson, yeah.
Okay, he has completely antagonized wide receivers for multiple teams, and you can't count how many suspensions have occurred because of him. So why doesn't the NFL start investigating the practices that the New Orleans Saints have, or what they're doing out on the football field? It's just not right, man. It truly isn't right.
Ray, you can comment on this. And here he also, why isn't Lattimore suspended for starting it? And also, it looked like on the replay, he not only put his hands on Tom Brady, but he was also throwing a punch. So if you're going to throw a punch, he's not going to be suspended. Then what are we talking about? And I'll tell you what, really quick, let's go out to what Tom Brady had to say, Ray. We'll get it back to you in a moment on his Let's Go podcast. I love Mike, and I know Mike would come out there and defend me. It means everything in the world to me as a teammate and a friend, and I know about him. And so in the end, emotions are a part of sports. Sometimes they boil over, and then obviously did yesterday. He also says it's an unfortunate circumstance. I don't think it deserved any type of suspension. I think that's ridiculous. Hopefully we can move past it, get to a better place. In the end, I appreciate Mike having my back. I'll know her learn from it. He knows that we all have his back. There you go. And then, of course, there was some controversy at the end of the game. We'll get back to that in a moment with Devin White and his comments about Jameis Winston, which, by the way, were true. It's not, and I think everybody forgets about Jameis Winston eating the W with Drew Brees when he didn't even play in the game. I think people forget about Jameis Winston dancing in the locker room, and now everybody wants to feel sorry for him. And Devin White basically just told the truth from the defensive perspective. Now, Ray, you can go.
Watch, they'll suspend him for opening up his mouth.
Exactly.
Okay, guys, let's go ahead and say this. First thing, I was at the Miami game, first game of the year, and I said the one thing I loved was Bruce Arians sitting on the bench with Jason Light, surveying the team as the assistant general manager to the offensive whatever he is. I don't care about the Saints not giving them a luxury box or not giving them supposedly seating in the box until later. Bruce Arians doesn't belong on the sideline. And I'll tell you what, and I didn't used to think
I agree.
I didn't think that Benson, the owner of the Saints back in the day before he passed, belonged on the sideline.
Look, you know what? I'm going to say something right now. Jerry Jones is allowed on the sideline. Arthur Blank is allowed on the sideline. Why not BA? Why is everybody making
it? Doesn't make it right, Peter.
But they've allowed it for years.
Hold on. He's the former coach who took this team to the Super Bowl. Let Todd Bowles have his air.
Yeah,
Give the man his space. It's his team, not This isn't BA's team. This is Todd Bowles' team.
I understand that, but he's still a consultant of the team. It's not like he's a fan or something, and that's why Florio and everybody else is treating it. He's a consultant of this team. He is under the general manager. Whether anybody likes it or not, they want him to go off and retire. He's not going to do that. He belongs on the sideline. So,
Pete,
enough. Yes. Go ahead.
Bruce Arians was bragging about how during the scrimmage with the Tennessee Titans, he got a flag by the official because he was jawing on the sides there at One Buck Place, the IFNL training facility. He's going to. What I'm saying is, moving forward, he doesn't belong on the sidelines because the guy is he's a gamer. And he's emotional, and it's not good for his heart. He looked great last week in Dallas, sitting up in the box, all tan, got his 3 days of golf in that week. He's having a good time. I know he's on the sideline. I'm not saying he doesn't belong there from the guy has his bona fides. He's going to be in a Ring of Honor in a couple of months. He's a Buccaneer for life as far as I'm concerned, but let him stay off the sideline because when shit like that happens, he's not going to be able to control his temper. And second of all, Marshawn Lattimore was near the Buccaneer sidelines jawing. If that kid doesn't want to be in the fight, then take your sorry butt back over to your side and let us come to you. So I know that anywhere on the field in play, but he walked back that sideline on purpose. Bruce jawed at him. Tom said something going by him. Of course, Leonard Fournette came to Tom. I loved the fact that from this, the team got unity, and they were reminded again, it's us against the world, and we are going to beat the world as a team. I love that.
Let me ask you this, Ray. So let me get this, and Ray and Peter, let me get this straight. So the only suspension that was handed down was Mike Evans.
Yes, and according to Jordan Schultz here, Mike Evans, his agent, the NFL Players Association, and the Bucs just finished their hearing. This was a couple of hours ago regarding Evans' one-game suspension appeal. I'm told the league plans to alert Evans of its final decision. By the way, guess who listened to that? Who's my favorite player? Mr. Derek Brooks.
Yes, sir.
And let me get this straight. So the NFL can fine somebody for using inappropriate language, whether it's slanderous, racist, whatever the case may be. But you physically can put your hands on somebody or taunt them, and that's not a punishable offense. Yes. NFL got this wrong, baby. The NFL got this wrong.
Well, to me, it's just outrage. You know what it is? It's just fake, being a fake mad or something, fake anger. That's what it is, because it was on television. That's the reason why. And then on top of it, with the BA stuff, I feel like nobody's made a big deal about Jerry Jones or owners or anybody else being on the sideline. Why all of a sudden they're making a big deal about it? Why? Because BA was jawing at Lattimore. That's what he does. And if you're not going to provide a box, or once again, you're allowed on the sideline, there's no big deal. Tell you what, let's go out to these comments here. Christopher Cole says Florio is a joke. Tim says Evans had 132 yards for the season so far. Even missing a game, I think he'll get 1,000. We shall see. Tim, it looked like Lattimore threw a punch and hit Fournette in the mouth.
I don't know how he can hit him in the mouth. The guy got a helmet on.
Right. Well,
the thing is, nobody should have been suspended in this game. And if there was, there should have been multiple people suspended in the game. You could have got Brady for taunting. You could have got Mike Evans for shoving him down. You could have got Marshawn Lattimore not only for pushing back and trying to throw a punch and taunting the opposing team on the sideline. I mean, Leonard Fournette, there could have been multiple suspensions, but we're going to suspend the guy that came in to defend his quarterback and pushed him. Never punched him. Let's just get that out of the way and get that straight.
Yep, exactly. All right, let's go out to Tim again. Bruce was on the sideline because there wasn't a press box available for him. And Christopher Cole, Saints fans are crying about everything as they always do. Ray, finish it up here. What else do you have to say, my friend?
No, that was it. It was a great win. Coming this week, I wish we had Evans to go against Green Bay. I like adding Cole Beasley. I don't know what it's going to have as far as implications on Scotty Miller or the guys down the road. I thought Rashard Perryman manned up. Between that, I said this on my Facebook page, between that catch he had, the touchdown, and an overtime winner last year against Buffalo. I think back to Horace Copeland, Lamar Thomas, Mark Carrier, Kevin House. I think back to all the great receivers in Buccaneer history, but Rashard Perryman has had pretty solid catches, but just 2 catches. That last week, and then, hey, Barry, you tell me Kevin and Mark Carriers or Horace Copeland's or Lamar Thomas's catches. I can tell you about wide receivers I watched from these Buccaneers since '76. I'm saying Rashard Perryman has put himself, he's on the Ring of Honor, but he's put himself among, at least for me in my book, among the top 10 Buccaneers receivers of all time.
I don't know. I think, Ray, you've been drinking a little bit too much. You did a big play last year versus the Bills. I get that. A big play against the Saints. But come on, let's not lose our mind here. I get what you're saying. Good stuff, Ray, as always.
I would rather be part of
You know,
Lamar Thomas inciting a riot.
I know what you think about Perryman there. Harold.
Okay, I'd rather be a part of Lamar Thomas, who, by the way, I know, inciting a riot, okay, at a college game, than I would having to hear one more time this guy's name with Perryman. Oh my God, that guy just annoys me.
Perryman, say it, Ray, really quick. The news today. Yes.
Our 2 Pro Bowl receivers in 2019 when Mike Evans and Chris Godwin both go down. Who stepped up in those last 3 games and had over 400 yards receiving?
I forgot about that. Thank you very much for reminding me. You may actually have a point, Mr. Ray Kennedy. What do you think about Cole Beasley? Cole Beasley being signed by the Bucs. You like the move?
It's an embarrassment of riches. I guess either Julio Jones is more serious than we thought, or they just don't trust Scotty Miller.
Brother, slice my wrist.
What, Cole Beasley or Brashard Perryman?
No, what I'm saying is I think that, Cole Beasley.
That's twice, Pete.
Player. I don't even know if he ever sees that. I don't know if he ever dresses, to be honest with you. I think it's nice to have him in there, but he's got receivers in front of him.
Brashard Perryman.
Oh.
Listen, the reason why they signed Cole Beasley in the first place is
more
because
food for
Miller
you.
had lots of drop. Will you shut up?
No more food for you on a Sunday.
Scotty Miller, you know what? Scotty Miller proved that he could not catch the ball consistently. Yes, OBJ was spotted on the sideline there. Let's go out to Jeremy here. Let's see. Perryman is a monster, BOFL. Christopher Cole says OBJ, and Andrew Fulbear, the big board. Gentlemen, what's going on, my friend? Definitely use the phone lines if you want to call in. Mr. Andrew Fulbear, the big board. Ray, thanks a lot for the call. Let me go ahead and give you the Byron.
How about them Bucks, baby?
Let me give you the Ric Flair. Appreciate the call. And use the second call if you want to, all right?
The big board can't call in, man. That's long distance from where he's at.
I think he can handle that.
No. That's expensive, bro. That's expensive.
It is.
Yeah.
Is it that expensive? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the overall game here. Tell you what, really quick though, before we get into the game, let's get out to one of our guests. You know him all too well because he actually started out on this show, Mr. JC Allen of a Pewter Report. Welcome to the Evolution. And I got to get your thoughts on this game on Sunday as the Bucs get a victory in New Orleans, which has been really tough. Welcome.
Hi, Josh.
I'm not going with that baby face look. I see. Shaving off that beard. But no, I think
you didn't catch that, did you? It's kind of weird looking, right? I look kind of weird or something and look young again.
He looks 5 years old.
All right. I don't know. I don't know what to do yet. I don't know how to take it. But
all right, JC.
No, the game was. I don't even know. I mean, you look at it, both of these teams had really strong defenses. There were question marks on the offense, obviously with injuries going into it. No Julio Jones, no Chris Godwin, no Donovan Smith. And then on the opposite side, no Alvin Kamara, James Winston, still the quarterback, offensive line issues in the middle of the, especially in the interior for the Saints. So, it was a defensive battle. The team expected it. I think most people expected it. I had it as a low scoring game because of it. And that's exactly what it was. Now, was I expecting 5 turnovers from the Bucs? No, I wasn't. I expected 3 interceptions and back-to-back drives. No, I wasn't. But that just puts a testament to how good this Bucs defense is right now, how good this Bucs defense could be. So, watching that game back, there was a lot to take away to like about it. Now, of course, there were some negatives, not being able to score early and everything like that. But you look at their pass protection that was there, very good by Hainsey, by Haggerty, by Walton when he came in, really good. And I think there's a lot of positive takeaways on the offensive side and obviously the defensive side as well.
Harry, let me get out to you here. Surprised by this defense and how good they were versus the Saints. I get it. You have no Alvin Kamara there. People will make excuses, everything like that, but still that defense balled out. They had 3 interceptions, including a pick 6. Surprised how good they've been in the last 2 games?
No, actually where I thought the strong suit of this team was going to be, especially on this team, is going to be defensively. Tom Brady's not going to have to throw the ball 30, 40 times a game, and nor should he even they should even think about it. I love the fact that they're winning ugly right now, because when they have to go into a passing game, they can run them with the best of them, with the Chargers and the Kansas City Chiefs and all the high-powered offenses that are out there. But right now, have a blast, play defense, shut the opposing team down, get ball control, and I'll tell you what, run that football. But I got to contradict Josh just a smidge. I
Mhm.
don't like the way that offensive line is playing. To
Yeah.
me, I don't think they're really struggling at center and off and to the left, especially at the left tackle position. I rewatched it again, especially the offensive side of it. They really need a lot of help on that left side of the offensive line. And that's why I'm glad they're running the football the way they are, because if they continue to win in the upcoming weeks, they'll get better and they're going to pass protect better. I mean, they're going to have to. I mean, it's Tom Brady that's sitting back there. But right now, it doesn't look that premier, especially on the offensive line. Run blocking, no problem whatsoever.
Right. And I think it also doesn't help with the injuries. Donovan Smith
No.
being out, Josh Wells being
Yep.
in, now he's
Yeah,
out.
Donovan Smith is out, and
Right. And you have a whole new offensive line at this point. JC, take me back to the game on 4th and 1. What necessarily happened in
yeah,
that play? Because it looked like Tom Brady was really upset about something, and it looked like it was against his offensive line not blocking.
Yeah, and I just want to go back and contradict Harry the Greek, because Brandon Walton, when he came in, he graded out an 80.3 grade for PFF and Pass Pro. So he came in. I get it. He's not Donovan Smith. He was a lot better than Josh Wells, and he actually more than held his own at that left tackle spot. And he'll probably get to go this week again if Donovan Smith can't. But that fourth, I have no idea. It looked like, I'm not sure what the call was. It looked like Gedeke started to pull to the right side. I don't know if it was something that Leonard Fournette saw something and tried to gut it up the middle instead of following his blockers. I don't know if Gedeke had the wrong play or assignment, what he thought he was doing, but whatever it was, it wasn't pretty, and I hope to never see it again. That's for sure.
well, no, I understand where you're coming from on there, Josh, but they're getting way too much pressure up the middle on this team. They're going to get better as time goes on. They're going to get better. I assure you of that. But it was not that pretty. There were 16 plays. If you go back and watch the footage on this, and you will find that it's just getting. I mean, there's 2 steps and they're into the backfield already when he's dropping back. That's not a real good blocking offensive line.
Yeah,
At
Gedeke
this point,
definitely needs
right?
to.
But I'll tell you what, man.
Is a weak link there. I think I've been
But I'll
impressed by Hainsey.
But I'll tell you
for
what,
sure.
Josh, when they're running that football, before that ball's getting handed off, you could just see them exploding through that defensive line. Let me tell you something. That front four for New Orleans, that's not a joke. That team can play some defense.
Absolutely.
Okay, and that run offense for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'll tell you what, they really moved the pile really well.
JC, really surprised by this running game and how balanced they are, because it was mostly pass last year. Tom Brady 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions at this time last year. Only 2 touchdowns and 1 interception right now. So kind of surprised. I mean, it comes back down to injuries, right? And not only offensive line, but also your wide receiving core.
No, not at all. I mean, this is exactly what they talked about all offseason. Want to be more balanced, running the ball more. They're going to do whatever it takes to win. And if that's Brady throwing 50 passes a game, they're going to do that. But they're not going to start out by doing that. They're going to do that when they have to. And while if they can continue to establish the run, it changes the way teams game plan. It changes the way teams have to play. You look at what the Saints usually have done over the course of their that 7 game, at least the very least the 4 games, is been able to just rush 4 and drop the rest in coverage and had Brady try to beat you that way, and we've seen mistakes made. So they want to establish their run game. They want to get the run game going to make them more multiple. Give teams more to prepare for, more to stop, instead of just saying, okay, if they're going to throw it a million times a game, let's rush 4 and try to stop the run that way. Well, now you need to put another guy in the box if Lenny's going to be running this way. And, it wasn't just Lenny did so much more this past game and both games really than just run the ball. He's been excellent as a pass blocker. There's just so many different little things in his game and aspects that he's improved on that, really kind of doesn't show up in the stat sheet, but and it goes unnoticed unless you're really looking for it. So the running game as a whole, I've been really, of course you'd like to see a little bit more yardage, but it did what it needed to do. Shoot up the clock, kept the defense honest for the Saints, and eventually it led to some big plays down the field.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you what, Harry the Greek, you got to get out of here. So go ahead and promote yourself here. Say bye to your good friend here, JC Allen. And once again, thanks a lot for joining us here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television.
Joshua, as usual, buddy, it's always a pleasure being on there with you. I'll tell you what, you got more knowledge about this Buccaneer team. And for that fact, the knowledge that you have around the NFL is just like second enough. None. Peter, thank you so much for having me on. You can catch me on the Over-Under on 1252 Sports with my co-host, Mr. Peter Blake. Or you could find me during the week on some of Peter's shows with the Sports Web. Josh, my brother, you take care of yourself. Keep up the great work, buddy. We're admiring you from afar. Peter,
yes.
Have a good evening. Thank you.
There you go. Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire, 1252 Chicago Sports. Thanks a lot for your time. Get out of here. Let's come out to you here. Big news today. The Bucs signed Cole Beasley to the practice squad. More than likely, they're going to elevate him. Your thoughts on this move? Really surprised by it because what we heard was, he was on Tom Brady's radar. I guess everybody's going Britney Spears with Tom Brady. So what do you make of the move? And then you also tweeted out something else that was interesting on Sunday. OBJ, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, first off, I want to say, what's up, Haley? What's up, Cannon? They're watching us right now live on the Sports Web. So, but yeah, go ahead.
No, hi guys, how you doing? I miss you. Remember, I held you a long time ago. So good to see you guys again. All right, so go ahead.
But yeah, Cole Beasley. I think you look at this team and the rich just keep getting richer, right? I mean, you talk about a loaded receiving core. Obviously, we got people hurt and suspended. Chris Godwin hurt. Julio Jones hurt. Russell Gage still not 100%. Mike Evans hurt and suspended. And now they're bringing Cole Beasley. When this team is all healthy, they're going to have a heck of a top 5 wide receiving core right there, rivaled by any in the league. You look at what the Bucs have done. They've had so many drops the last couple of games, not just by receivers, but by tight ends. And Cole Beasley is sure-handed as they come. I mean, the guy's had 82 receptions in back-to-back seasons. His catch percentage is 71% catch percentage over his career. He's just a reliable guy that can catch balls over the middle. He doesn't really fit this offense, I would say, per se, for what they call for their slot guys. Usually they're bigger guys who can block, and I don't know how, Cole Beasley is going to throw his body in there, but he's not one of those bigger slot. He's a smaller, let's just call it what it is, a smaller white receiver. So, kind of the Wes Welker, Julian Edelman mold. Those guys aren't tenacious blockers. They don't really fit the system as much. But he bring, Scotty Miller, Rashad Perriman, Jalen Darden, obviously Perriman, top 10 wide receiver in Bucs history. I don't know what the heck, Ray.
I don't know, Ray.
You might be having a couple Pirate Republics, check these things out.
I get where he's coming from because in big moments when Evans and Godwin went out, he definitely helped out Winston at that point. He's right about that. He has made some big catches, but top 10 wide receiver.
Top 10's tough.
Ray, that's a little bit of a stretch.
It's
with
tough.
That being
That's
said,
tough.
going back, that's tough.
But
Scotty Miller, he had a couple of drops. It looked like, Brady was upset. If this guy was on Brady's radar at the end of the day, you feel like he's going to go to him. And then on top of it, you basically lost confidence in Scotty Miller. And this is kind of what happened last year. This is the reason, JC, why they went after wide receivers in the offseason in the first place, because they had so many injuries last year and it hurt them. Now it seems like they're prepared.
Yeah. Well, seems like it is one thing. Now you're dealing with suspensions and injuries early in the season. That's another thing. But I think if you look at, Scotty Miller, he had a great end around. He had a really nice catch on a third down to convert. But those other two passes, and those are tough catches to make. I'm not going to take anything away from that. I mean, Chris Godwin and Mike Evans might struggle with those catches. So I don't want to take anything away from him in that sense. But I think this is Brady's last year. I'm 90% sure it's probably his last year. He doesn't have time.
Sources say this could be Brady's last year. You think? What sources say? What are the sources is. That's what I know.
I think he wants someone more established, someone who's got a better track record, someone who's going to be able to make those catches over the middle, not someone who's trying to be a little bit more grimier as a wide receiver. Scotty Miller's that deep guy. Let him go and he'll catch it. He's trying to integrate more of that those crossing routes, those outs, those ins, into his repertoire. But it's still a work in progress with him. So you're bringing in another guy in Cole Beasley, and now they're down. They're still down guys. Mike Evans is suspended. The practice squad move is genius because they've got 3 practice squad elevations they can use. So they don't even need to sign him to the active roster for 3 weeks. They can just, here's a practice squad elevation 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, and then they can make that decision to say, all right, Scotty, it's time for you to go. Jalen Darden or Brashad Perriman. Most likely Scotty, though. Realistically, it's probably going to be Scotty, the guy that's released for him. They also have an interesting situation with Akiem Hicks, too, where it sounds like he's going to be out for a month. So, if he's going to miss the next 4 games, you can put him on IR, and then he won't be eligible to come back into the Pittsburgh game. Or you kind of let him, do his recovery or whatnot, and maybe you get him back for exactly a month as you're looking at that Carolina game. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that and see if they elevate him that way. But I think Cole Beasley gives you a short-handed receiver that can catch balls over the middle that I think Brady has confidence in. Reports came out that he pushed for him, and again, like when you're dealing with these injuries, I think if Edelman was okay, it would be Edelman coming in here. But he told me 2 weeks ago his knees were fine, but I don't know how bad. He's got a cushy gig at NFL inside the NFL, and with a bet win or whatever he's doing with the casino over there. So I don't know how much you want to come back, but Cole Beasley is in that mold, and he's going to fit a perfect role for this team. And it sounds like Brady wants him, and whatever Lola wants, Lola gets.
That's it. And tell you right now, I would not be surprised that the bat phone is called. I just kind of wonder when that's going to happen with Rob Gronkowski. I still feel like he's going to play. I mean, where do you stand on this? And does it take another injury, maybe to that tight end room? Knock on wood. I hope it doesn't happen. But, you're down to wide receivers. You're getting Cole Beasley, who doesn't necessarily know the offense. I get it. He's productive, but he still has to learn this offense. How many more injuries do you have to have until that bat phone is called for Gronk?
I'm sure the bat phone was already called, to be honest with you. I mean, you look at where the Bucs have struggled so far this season, like the most, third down conversions, red zone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Gronk. That's Gronk right there. So I'm sure the bat phone was called. Hey, please, you don't want to come back? You sure you want to come back? And I'm pretty sure he's probably content right now. I'm not looking to come back right now. He's spoken so many times about how long the season is, the rigors of the season, keeping his body healthy for a season, not wanting to, wake up every day of every week of the season feeling all banged up and bruised. And, and at this point, he's been through so many surgeries. He's got nothing left to prove. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, arguably the best tight end that's ever played the game. He doesn't have much left to prove. So if he is going to come back, I think he's going to wait. I think he's going to wait until later in the season where he's not playing you look at it now, it's still a 15-game season without the playoffs. Now you're talking, if they go to the Super Bowl, it's a 17-game season. He's right back, 18-game season. He's right back into a 18-game season, which is something that he doesn't want to do. I think you cut it down to 8-game season, somewhere around there. I think that's when you get Gronk on board, It's just eight weeks. Let's do it. Or, 9 weeks with a bye week if they go, to the Super Bowl. Let's get through it. Let's walk off into the sunset with a Super Bowl ring and into the Hall of Fame together in 5 years. So it's going to be interesting.
And we're on with J.C. Allen of Pewter Report, the superstar himself. I heard him the other day on the Pat and Aaron show on 95.3, 620 WDAE. They're doing this thing. Good stuff as always, my friend. With the Hicks injury, a lot of people have pointed out and said, you know what, the Bucs shouldn't have got rid of Ndamukong Suh. Do you think they bring him back, or do they run with Nacho? Is it Nacho time? Is it Logan Hall time? Is it guys in-house, or is there a possibility they could convince Suh to take less money? Because at the end of the day, I think the Bucs saw something, and I think it was probably, and maybe this is not fair, but it was the last play against the Rams where he's a second too late, and of course Stafford hits Kupp for that big-time completion to set Matt Gay up for that winning field goal. I think that's what they were looking at, and then on top of it, money. Where do you stand on Sue and the Bucs?
Sue's a businessman. He's not going to take anything less than he thinks he's worth, and I don't think that even matters if the season started. Like, he's not going to be like, oh, I need to get on a team. He's a businessman. I think it really comes down to watching the film the next couple of games. Nacho's been amazing. He's been really, I wouldn't say amazing, but he's been really good filling in that role as a rotational guy and then playing extended snaps. Logan Hall still got some learning curves to do. One of the biggest problems is they're playing him all over the line. They're not almost kind of like what they did with JTS last year, playing him all over the place instead of really just honing on one position. So, he's had some splash plays. I mean, he beat Zach Martin in week 1, and people don't beat Zach Martin. It just doesn't happen. He's a Pro Bowl guard. Guy's got more Pro Bowls than he does holding penalties in his career, which is nuts because it's 7. It's 7. Like, that's not even a big number of holds for linemen. But I think that, I think they feel like they're comfortable right now with that. They still got POC, Patrick O'Connor, who really came on last season, before he got injured. They've got some good depth there. They've got some guys that like on the practice squad. If it becomes a situation where they start bleeding, maybe they pick up the phone and call Sue, but they don't have much money. Like, they did this restructure recently with Shaq Mason, but that only opened up like operating costs. So in order to do that, now you're going to somebody and saying, hey, we need to restructure your deal. And really, there's only a few guys on the team left to restructure, and that's Donovan Smith adding another season on extending his contract, void years, and now you're adding to the cap next season. And then the same thing with Mike Evans. You tear up his contract, give him a new contract, but still you're adding on void years. Probably you're adding on dead money for next season, and they're already almost $50 million in dead money. So it's one of those situations where what is more important? Is it getting a Sue, or is it rolling with a Nacho and Logan Hall the next 2 weeks? And then the problem there too is, okay, Akiem Hicks comes back. Now what do you do with Sue? What do you do? Do you cut POC, who's a special teams guy? Do you cut Nacho, who's performed pretty well for you? Like, where do you make that cut? So like, that's the question mark too that they have as well. And plus, if you look at it, I mean, they're already facing some questions too. Not just that wide receiver position, now defensive tackle position, but that linebacker position too. I mean, week 1, it was Jannard Avery. Week 2 is Kenny Young. Do they go back to Jannard Avery or Kenny Young? And you only have that for about 6 weeks with those guys. And so you have to bite the bullet and say, okay, we need to sign someone to the active roster to play on special teams for us. So, there's a lot of different things to juggle. I see Tim Witherspoon in the comments. Is Kyle Rudolph ever going to play? Maybe Kyle Rudolph gets the axe. Maybe they decided we only need 3 tight ends, and they cut Kyle Rudolph and bring in Sue, or they bring in one of those linebackers, the active roster.
Really quick, we got the greatness of JC Allen up Pewter Report. If you have a question for him, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. How come we haven't seen Kyle Rudolph? I mean, he's not the best blocker like these other rookies. I guess they're going with that. But do we expect to see him anytime soon? Is he kind of the odd man out? Really?
I mean, maybe with with everyone banged up this week, they might bring him up. But he offers no special teams. You can't bring a 4th tight end up that's not going to offer special teams. Kokeith is a guy who can play fullback, H-back, F tight end, U tight end. He can play multiple positions. Kate Otten has been very impressive in his stints and is also the team's leading special teams tackler right now as a tight end. So, I mean, like, there's no spot for him if you can't play special teams. They paid him $2 million. He was on the week 1 roster. That money is guaranteed, whether they play him, whether they cut him, whatever they do with him, he's getting, his money for this season. So, he could be the first guy to go if there is, if there's a need to bring in a tackle, like if there's a need to bring in, and I would not be surprised to see a tackle elevated this week. I mean, you got Brandon, if Donovan Smith can't go, Brandon Walton's there. Nick Leverett can play tackle in a pinch, but you're starting to wean out your depth there at tackle and guard because Brandon Walton's, you're also your emergency 3rd string center, and he's your backup guard. So, like, it's just going to be interesting to see. I don't think Kyle Rudolph this time is this week. Keyshawn Vaughn's been inactive the last 2 games as well. Like, I don't know when these guys. He'll probably be active if Giovanni Bernard he had an ankle injury, depending on how that is. But I don't know what we're looking at for Kyle Rudolph as a role on this team. It's just
that's
you got
that's
outplayed by the rookie guys, and he doesn't play teams. That's
right.
what it comes down
Right.
to.
I mean, special teams is so important. Where do you stand on the Mike Evans situation? I mean, is there any chance because Derek Brooks is residing over this ruling that
It's not actually. It's James Thrash.
really? I heard
Reclused himself from it. Yeah,
wow. So James Thrash, former Washington
wide receiver.
football team, a killer, killed the Bucs in some moments there. Any chance that he gets out of this, or do you think it's going to be
James Thrash heard his appeal in 2017, and we all know how that went. He's a repeat offender. He's lucky he got one game. He's going to sit out this game for the Packers, but he's dealing with a calf injury. So let him, he was limping on the sideline at one point before the fight after making a catch. So let him rehab. I still think this Bucs team is better than the Packers team. I think even with Mike Evans out, if you can get Julio Jones to go, or even, if Russell Gage is feeling a little bit better and he can make more of an impact. I like this Packers defense. I think it's a little bit overrated for what they are. I think the Bucs defense is playing lights out. The Packers have no weapons. We've seen the Bucs been able to shut down the running game. They've had struggled early on the last two games, though, against the Cowboys and the Saints. They'll need to get a lid on that early because that's the type of running game, that's the type of offense this Packers team is running. But I think they still have a really good shot. Just like Bill Belichick's kryptonite is in Miami, it seems like it's the same situation for Aaron Rodgers. He's just not good in Florida. We'll see how that plays out. But, I think Evans is lost, though, for sure.
We're going to go out to the phone lines here. One of my favorite webheads, Mr. Curtis from Newport Richie. Welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with our old friend, J.C. Allen of Pewter Report.
What's up, JC? How you doing, brother?
What's going on, man? Long time no see. Or talk. Whatever.
Man, how you guys been, man?
I've been good. I've been good. I mean, JC was caught off guard there because of how young I look right now without the beard. He hasn't seen me, huh?
What are you, like 21? Do they ID you when you go buy beer now?
Hey, man, I'm on that TB12 method. That's what I'm on right now. I'm trying to get on that, trying to get healthier.
You got you some avocado tequila, huh?
Yeah, I need some tequila after watching that offense the first half with all the injuries and penalties and stuff like that. But no, they got it together. But you're exactly right. I think we need some tequila after all the times we've heard fans talk about this Saints team. And then, and I want to get into this in a moment, but the Devin White comments. Curtis, really quick, your thoughts. You got a question for JC.
Well, I was gonna say, are you surprised that Mike only got suspended for one game?
Yeah. To be honest, yeah. He's a repeat offender. We've seen these two go after before. The cheap shot before in 2017, him ripping his helmet off in 2020. Now that Mike was like just chilling there, waiting for something to happen. You see, he wasn't even all the way off the field. He was like, "Oh, he's gonna say something. He's gonna say something. Oh, he's gonna say something. Oh, he said something." Ah!
Yeah. Well, he touched Brady. I mean, he touched Brady's ball until he touched my quarterback. You can't do that.
And the same thing happened when he touched Jameis too. Mike doesn't play that game. Doesn't matter. You don't touch my quarterback, and plus he doesn't like him. Like generally, they do not like each other. It's not like I respect you off the field. I respect you, and they do not like each other. There's no love lost for them. But no, I think one game was generous by the NFL. I don't think it demanded more than one game, but as a repeat offender with the same person, I think that's maybe where they could have got him for two. I'm happy it's one. It looks like he's probably not going to get overturned. I think Marshawn Lattimore got away, and so did Marcus May. Obviously he put his hands on Brady. Fournette pushed him. He then threw a punch, open fist, closed fist, half open, half closed, up under Leonard Fournette's face mask. Right. He's not stupid. He's not going to punch his face mask, but up under the face mask to try to give him like a little uppercut. And then Marcus May took a swing at Mike Evans when he was going down to the ground, and both of those guys got away. So
I mean, that's the problem for me. Curtis, go ahead.
So how much did they fine Lattimore?
Fines haven't came out yet, but I'm assuming everyone involved will be fined. Brady, Fournette, May, Lattimore, and Evans. I'm assuming. I mean, that should. Brady called him a little B, like if you can read mouths, he called him a B and then called him a little, and then he turned around and was like, "What'd you say?" Brady said, "You're a little B." So I mean, like, Brady's a trash talker. We know that. Like he got Tyrann Mathieu fired up. Like he doesn't care. He's gonna say some stuff. And Brady even admitted on the Let's Go podcast, okay, if I didn't go down there, we're probably not even talking about this. We all have to make smarter decisions. I'm an emotional guy out there. I let my, smashing tablets. Guy's definitely an Apple guy. He does not like Androids. Smashing tablets and, cussing players out. And then that's how it kind of escalated from there.
I kind of like him like that because I think it pumped him up. Even though the Bucs lost Evans, the Saints lost Lattimore. I feel like he should be suspended. The other guys should be suspended. If you're going to make it fair, suspend them all at the end of the day.
Not all of them. Not Brady.
Not Brady. How about you suspend the referees? Okay? Enough. Because Lattimore interfered with Scotty Miller. That's the reason why Brady and BA is upset in the first place. It's a horse, what call. I'll put this out there. That's what kind of calls they were making on Sunday. Sean Hockley, you're a chip off the old block. You're absolutely horrible, like your father was. Curtis,
tight shirts, though.
But there you go.
Tight shirts.
Mediums.
The thing that kills me is it's like, what was anybody watching? Like this is like they were trying to let the Saints like pull this off. I'm like these are some of the worst calls some of the worst no calls I've ever seen in my life. And number one, you don't go after a guy's quarterback.
It's funny. I was actually on Twitter and I posted the video of Devin White calling Jameis out, and I know you want to get into that in a minute, and then I got to run after that. But I saw something that I thought I'd never see, and it was a Saints fan that said, rewatching this game, there's no reason why we shouldn't have won. We had the refs. It was the Saints and the refs versus the Bucs. Like some of the calls and non-calls that were made out there were just terrible. Now the Bucs had a bad call against them too, against them as well on one of those plays that should have never been called. And the Saints, but I mean, we know refs like to overcompensate for bad calls, but it was tough out there. I mean, some of the calls they were making were just really egregious. The two roughing the passer calls were just, I don't know. I get let them play, but you can't let one team play and the other not play. So there's definitely some egregious calls out there for sure. And refs aren't getting any better as the time goes on.
Curtis, what else?
The funniest thing I've seen in the last 2 days was somebody had posted where Mike Evans pushed Lattimore, and then they cut straight to the scene where they had T.O. crying about Romo being the quarterback.
That's
my
good.
God.
We have a good one on Pewter Report. It's the Undertaker, Mankind, when he throws him up the Hell in a Cell.
Yes.
when he pushes him, he's like, "Oh my, as God is my witness, his back is broken." It was hilarious.
What did he say? He's dead. He's
dead. He's dead. Yeah, they put together a good one there. That was pretty funny.
Good stuff. All right, Curtis.
The other thing I have to say is, it's a good team win for them boys. Yep. That defense looks so good, man. And Jamel Dean, Carlton Davis, Winfield, those other guys, Logan Ryan, those guys look so good back there. And can we blitz Devin White more often up the gut?
I'll tell you what, I put out my bold predictions article before the season. I had said Devin White's going to be a top 3 vote getter for Defensive Player of the Year. He continues to play like this. I don't see how he's not. I mean, he is everywhere. Tackles, sacks. He's had 2 pick sixes he missed in the last 2 games. One against the Cowboys, one against the Saints. Just dropped it. He's got to catch those. If he would have caught those and brought those back, he would have, he'd have 3 sacks, a forced fumble. I think he's got 19 total tackles right now, 2 pick sixes. He'd be the early front runner for Defensive Player of the Year. You got to hold on to those. I think he's going to take a huge leap. He talked about it on the Josina Anderson show when they were asking him about, Jameis Winston. He's like, people pointed stuff out at me and I improved it. And that was one of the biggest things all offseason of him talking about, look, this is where I need to improve. This is where I need to get better. And we saw that through training camp, and now we're seeing it through 2 games. It's been awesome to watch that progression from him. So I really think this guy, and Jamel Dean's so good. Like I talked him up all offseason. He was the top cornerback in press man coverage of all of football last year, doing his thing, had a dropped interception against the Cowboys, made up for it with 2 against the Bucs. I talked to him today on go check over out on Pewter Report TV. I have Touchback Tuesdays rather, and I had Jamel Dean on, and he had some really cool things to say about those two plays. So, his star is only going up. I said it in the offseason. They should have re-signed Dean. I think they could have got him something around that Rasul Douglas deal, 3 for $21, kind of what they gave Rasul Douglas over in Green Bay. And if he continues to play this way, he might price himself out of Tampa Bay, and that's going to stink for them.
Yeah, it's going to definitely stink for him, and I think they got to lock him up. You're exactly right. Curtis, thanks a lot for the call. Use that second call. Let me go ahead and give you the Ric Flair.
Woo! I got one more thing.
Yes, go ahead.
Anybody who watched this game should know the history between the Bucs and the Saints over the last couple of years.
Correct.
I'm going to tell you something. It was like every play was so emotional. Even like when the Levante David, when they called the foul.
Ridiculous. A ridiculous call. Yes.
He was running through his veins and his body. And he's like, come on, that's such a bullshit call.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
And this is such a big, it's only week 2, but it's such a big game to both of these teams because these teams naturally hate each other. Like,
right. Teams hate each other, fan bases hate each other, and it's a divisional game. Like,
yes, it counts for 2. Good stuff, Curtis. Let me go ahead and give you the Byron. Use that second call.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Appreciate you as always, my friend. You're the man. Yes.
all right, brother.
All right. There you go, Curtis.
Better, Curtis. Always a pleasure.
As always, let me go ahead and go out to these questions really quick, and then we'll get you out of here. Do we know when Godwin will be back?
It's day to day.
Day to day, as we all are.
Right, day to day. We'll talk to Coach Bowles tomorrow. We'll get an update. He'll be day to day. We'll ask about all the guys. Giovanni Bernard, how he's doing. What any guy who's injured. We are obviously we got the news about Akiem Hicks is going to be out for a month. Josh Wells will also be out this game. We'll ask about it's a calf injury. Supposedly it's not near ending or going to need a stint on IR, which would be 4 games, but he'll probably miss this game, possibly the next game. The biggest question mark is, I think Godwin is something that you kind of expect. I don't think many people expect that he'd be ready to go. So if he's not ready to go for the Packers game, it is what it is. But I think the biggest name we're going to be asking about tomorrow is Donovan Smith. And I'm also going to ask him about an update on Ryan Jensen too. We're going into week 3 here. Is the swelling down? What's going on with the swelling? It's got what's the outlook look like? Does he need surgery? Does he not need surgery? What is going on with Ryan Jensen? Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? And what's going on with this injury?
All right, good stuff. Let me go out to Jesse here. He says, hi, Peter. What's up, JC? Love Pewter Report. Got my Celsius Peach vibe. That's good stuff. I've had it. And Jesse, again, what's ridiculous is that the guy that handed down Mike's suspension is the father of the player.
Don't pay attention to that. Like, that's being blown out of. That's being.
John Runyon was a dirty player for the Philadelphia Eagles. He hated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I know where he's going with this. I get it. They're not. You got to think, though, it's in the back of their mind, right? I mean, come on.
For fans, it's in the back of their mind, right? But, I mean, if you look at it, he's a repeat offender who's getting suspended. The fact that Lattimore didn't get suspended, if you got a problem with that, anything, blame him for not suspending Lattimore as well, or in his part of it. But, I mean, that's just as ridiculous thinking that there's some sort of conspiracy theory because his son plays for the Packers, that this is like some big conspiracy. That's as bad as Florio making a big deal about seating arrangements at the Saints Stadium and Bruce Arians on the sideline. Like, come on here.
Jerry Jones has been on the sideline for years, and I know maybe he hasn't been talking to players, probably recruiting them, trying to get them to play for. How about those Cowboys? Nobody makes a big deal about it, and now it's BA because he's chirping, and that's the way. But he is a consultant. He can do that. He's a team official. He's not a fan or something. He doesn't need a press pass. Florio, get off of it.
Right. He hates Bruce Arians for some reason. I don't know why, but there's some bad blood between the two of them.
It's ridiculous. All right, let's go out to Devin White's comments. This was after the game. Talking about Jameis Winston. When Jameis left our team, everybody knows what he did the last year. He threw 30 picks. We just know he was going to give us the ball. Now, a lot of people didn't like those comments. Some fans out there still rooting for Jameis Winston. It's fine. You can go ahead and do that. But what you come to find out is if you go through Leonard Fournette's IG, you hear Chris Godwin asking Devin White about the comments. So what's the scoop on that? Much to do about nothing. And what do you think of the comments? Because to me, I feel like that's how the defense felt. You heard from JPP when they got Tom Brady. They were in a better situation because of the quarterback they previously had.
Yeah, all I got to say is this. I mean,
Right. I mean,
Jameis Winston.
you guys forget that? Did you forget the eating the W? Did you forget dancing in the locker room, being on there with Cam Jordan and Drew Brees when he didn't even start a game?
Did absolutely nothing in that game, and then came out
Yes.
and was celebrating like it's the biggest thing in the world. Like the Bucs made the biggest mistake by getting Tom Brady and letting him go and not giving him a contract extension. As you said, the dancing in the locker room. Devin White's right. He said facts. Like that team was good. Like that team had an opportunity to go to the playoffs. If not for back-to-back interceptions in that Houston game and then following that up with that Atlanta game where he threw a pick in overtime. Like that team could have been a playoff team. They had a good defense. They had a good offense. Jameis, for everything, he threw 30 touchdowns and 5,000 yards. Like, again, Jameis is a good quarterback. He's got all the talent and natural ability that a quarterback possesses, that coaches look for, that they'd love to have. He doesn't check up from the neck up. That's been the biggest thing, and I've said this for years. I'll continue saying it. He is not a strong decision maker on or off the field. He just is not a strong decision maker, and we saw that. He panicked. He threw interceptions. Devin White said it. If we got a lead, if we started making moves, he was going to start throwing the ball deep. If you look at that game last week, the week prior to the Atlanta Falcons, they did not let Jameis Winston throw a football more than 20 yards down the field, or he did not complete a pass more than 20 yards down the field until the fourth quarter, until they needed to throw the ball to catch up. All of his interceptions came in that fourth quarter when they needed to throw the football to either try to take that lead, get aggressive and take that lead, and then when they were down behind to try to regain that lead. It's Jameis Winston 101. I have nothing wrong with that. Chris Godwin.
I mean, I know they
listen,
developed a relationship together. Chris Godwin is thankful for him, and he put up lots of numbers at the end of the day. But is there friction there? Should we?
I don't think there's anything wrong in the locker room. No, I don't think Devin White and Chris Godwin got beef or anything like that. I don't think anything like that is going to happen. I do think, though, that when you look at it, that's Chris Godwin's friend. It's like they're still close. Those guys, a lot of those guys are still close with him. And Lenny was on live, and he told him, and Chris kept asking again, and that's how it came up. And maybe he should have pulled him off to the side and said something. Devin White don't care. He does not care. Like he said it. Like I said it on the broadcast. You think I care about it on a live? Then he kind of repeat. I mean, he backpedaled a little bit, when he was on the podcast with Josina Anderson. But he shouldn't have to. Like, it's the truth of the matter is, Jameis celebrated when he beat y'all. You celebrated, and I mean that's just the bottom line as it goes. It's football, all spare in love and war, all spare in football. He's on the other team. He's not your teammate anymore. Hasn't been for 3 years.
That's the defense's mentality. He's trying to take you inside that locker room of how they felt. You have to put yourself there, because if you're a talented defense, which we knew this team was, and we heard from BA, didn't matter what quarterback you're going to get, you have a talented defense that can win now. We just have to eliminate the turnovers, and that's exactly what Tom Brady was able to do in that Super Bowl year. That's what he was able to do in this game on Sunday, and that is the difference. And, of course, the defense smashing you in the mouth. Good stuff, JC Allen. As always, go ahead and promote yourself here from Pewter Report.
Yeah, as you see, my Twitter handle's right there, at JC Allen NFL. All my content's over at Pewter Report. Make sure you check it out. Make sure you give me a follow on Twitter. I'm your one-stop shop for everything Bucs, whether it's Pewter Report content, stuff from the Bucs, stuff from PFF, stuff from everywhere. It's all going to be on my page. Make sure you check out Pewter Report TV. I just had Touchback Tuesdays drop with Jamel Dean as my special guest. It was really fun. Last week I had Antoine Winfield. Who will I have next week? I don't know. Stay tuned. Wow. Make sure you like and subscribe. Turn the little notification bell on, and you'll always get the update when we post new videos, and you'll you'll get to see who I got on there. But other than that, Peter, as always, a blast coming on here. Appreciate you having me on. Please grow your beard back out. But other than that, Mister, what are you doing?
What? Get me out of here, which is a lot of fans saying in the first half after
Right.
goodness, I don't know what that was. The first half offensive efficiency gone wrong. Good stuff, JC. Thanks a lot for your time here on the Evolution. All right.
Always. Talk to you later.
All right. Good stuff. There you go. JC Allen up Pewter Report. Now it's just you and me. Phone lines are open. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. No Leo Haggerty tonight. So, like I said, you want to talk about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers? We will talk about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers and signing a Cole Beasley. What do you think? Do you like the move? Could it mean that Tom Brady doesn't have that much confidence in Scotty Miller? Most likely, yes. Or this wide receiving room at this point. Of course, that's not far-fetched, seeing as you're missing Chris Godwin. Mike Evans could be suspended. We will wait word tomorrow officially. We'll probably be back tomorrow night with Dennis Phillips of ABC Action News talking about your fantasy football team, which I do care about. By the way, let me take a drink. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and go out to these comments here. So we will talk to him and talk to you about the Green Bay Packers, which are coming here on Sunday. How do you feel about that game? How do you feel about Akiem Hicks? What should the Bucs do? Should they go after a Sue? Should they stay in-house? Do you have somebody on your radar? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go out to Jesse here. What's ridiculous is that the guy that handed down Mike's suspension is the father. We talked about it. I feel some certain way about it too, because John Runyon was a Bucs killer. It was one of the most dirtiest players in NFL history. Look it up. I'm not being a homer. Trust me. Look it up. So he would know. Was it a cheap shot by Mike Evans? Yeah. Was it the worst thing I ever seen? No. He was defending his quarterback. And we talked about it with what Brady had to say. He had my back. And Evans even looked at the referee and said, hey, it's Tom Brady. You got to defend it. You got to defend your boy, right? I mean, I always had my boys. We go out. Of course, do you have my back? Yeah, I have your back. Not in an Alvin Kamara type of way where you beat the hell out of somebody. Not that type of way, but you have somebody's back. And the other player put his hands, and that would be Lattimore. Put his hands on Tom Brady. You don't put your hands on the Godfather. That's how I thought about it. That's what it seemed like to me. You don't put your hands on the Godfather. Okay? You don't put your hands on the face of the National Football League, the greatest of all time. You don't do that. You can get away with that with the Chicago Bears. We saw that last year with Justin Fields, where I'm watching a post-game show from Chicago, and they're upset with the offensive lineman because the offensive lineman didn't get into the other players' faces and protect their quarterback. That's what an offensive lineman's supposed to do. Nobody could understand why Justin Fields wasn't being protected. That's not going to happen here. We saw it already. We know the protector. We know the bodyguard of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it's Mike Evans, clearly. So, again, are you a little bit disappointed you may miss a game? Yeah, of course you are. But at the end of the day, the Bucs did what they had to do. Mike Evans did what he had to do. So now you may have to deal with the consequences. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. So what do you think about the possible suspension? Is there a possibility they could get back a Julio Jones? You would hope so. I'm not sure if they're going to rush back a Chris Godwin. Would you rush him back if he's already hurt? You want him during the season. We heard from Chris Godwin talk about this on a podcast. In the grand scheme of things, it's not about starting off right now. It's not playing the beginning part of the season. It's about the playoff stretch. It's about unfinished business. I like when Tom Brady's upset. You know why? Because he plays like Psycho Tom. And no, he didn't have the best game. And no, he hasn't had his best 2 games because of injuries. But at the end of the day, they're still winning games. Just imagine when they get back fully healthy. Just saying. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Okay, want to read this comment here, which is why it's suspicious, because neither Lattimore or May got a suspension, and they both threw punches. I don't understand it. Dropped the ball by the NFL.
Well, you dropped the ball.
You dropped the ball, NFL.
Well, you dropped the ball.
NFL, you dropped the ball.
Well, you dropped the ball.
That's what they do. Why is that a shock? They've done this throughout the whole, the last 5 to 10 years. I still feel like they dropped the ball with Deshaun Watson, but let's not get into that because that'll hurt people's feelings. Because people will come on this show and say that the Texans set him up, which is complete and total BS. I mean, this is why the NFL is the way it is. This is why the players are running wild sometimes, because it's not consistent. So let me get this straight. A guy that's defending the greatest of all time, the face of the league, gets a 1-game suspension, but the punk that basically started it, that decided to throw a punch, doesn't get anything. Does that make sense to you? Absolutely not.
How about no?
Let me go out to Christopher Cole. Tompkins should be on the roster. That's certainly possible. And Roger Shue says, quit being a Bucs homer. Look, I'm not being a Bucs homer, but you can get this.
Shut up!
And you can get this. Because that's BS. I'm telling the truth. It's not about being a Bucs homer. Put yourself in the shoes. Oh, that's right. Your team doesn't defend their quarterback. I forgot. But I reminded you, didn't I? But you would feel the same way. And then the other guy throws a punch and doesn't get anything. Amazing. Great discipline, NFL. Way to drop.
Well, you dropped the ball.
All right, let's go out to David. I forgot the guy's name who came in for Wells, but he played pretty good. Do you think he's going to start Sunday? Yes, because Josh Wells is not going to play. We heard from J.C. Allen, Brandon Walton. David says, I wonder what Ryan Jensen would have done. He probably would have been suspended too. Don't touch the quarterback, okay? Even if you sack the quarterback, you better stay off of him. You better not lay on top of him because there should be an offensive lineman that should submarine his ass on you. He should be trying to spear that defensive player. That's how you defend a quarterback. Quarterback is the most important position in the league, and there's a reason why. If you don't have a good quarterback, you lose. You have the greatest quarterback of all time. You have to defend him. So, yes, is it disappointing that he may miss a game? Absolutely. But the Bucs did what they needed to do, and they got it done on Sunday. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. All right, I'll
Acknowledge me.
You're a tribal troll, that's for sure. I mean, what do you think about Devin White's comments? You know, I was kind of surprised that Chris Godwin was asking White about what he had to say, and White didn't back down. He didn't back down at all. But really, what did he say in these comments that make you think that he was wrong? You know, I heard people say, "Oh, he's throwing shade, man." That's what the kids say. He's throwing shade out there. He ain't throwing shade. He's telling the truth. You go to your safe space if you can't deal with the truth on this show. Please. Go in the corner. Go in the fetal position if you can't handle it. Because everything that Devin White said is correct. And sure enough, it happened on Sunday. 3 interceptions. Watch the replays. The checkdowns are there. He decides not to take the checkdowns. I've been a Jameis Winston defender for a long time. And I still think the kid has all the skills in the world. But what is the thing that's always held him back? Making decisions on and off the field. making the correct decisions on the field, especially. And you have to put yourself in the defensive player's shoes, how they felt. How many times do we see interceptions where the defense is on a short field? That's what Devin White is trying to tell you. We heard the same thing being said by JPP just a couple of years ago. So why is this a surprise all of a sudden? Oh, we should be better winners. Screw that. Yeah, it's okay for a quarterback to go on there and eat a W and dance all around the place when he didn't do squat. I love it. I love every minute of it. Love it. I'm happy for Bucs fans. I hope you're celebrating. Of course, there's work to do. But honestly, how many people thought they were going to be 2-0? I mean, we've heard from the national pundits. There's no way they have an opportunity. They could be 1-3. We talked to the legend Leo Haggerty. He didn't think they were going to do well in this stretch. They're 2-0, and they've been injured for their wide receiving room. Big time injuries to their offensive line. Changes all over the place. What is leading them? Defense. That's what needs to be talked about with this team. Led by Devin White. Now, what kind of loss is Akiem Hicks to this team? Can Nacho fill it? I think he can. He's shown he can. Could the Bucs go out and get an Ndamukong Suh? I'm not sure. You know, people will say, why did the Bucs get rid of him in the first place? I go back to it. Maybe it wasn't just that play, it was other plays. He was a step too slow, possibly. Could he stay healthy? Yes, he could. Was he a highly productive player for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in his time here? Absolutely he was. There's a reason why other organizations didn't go after him in the first place. They probably turned on the film and said, you know what? He's not the same guy anymore. So that's the reason why you drafted Logan Hall in the first place. That's the reason. That's the reason why you have the depth that you have at this point. We just talked to JC. Special teams is important on this team. Like every team, but especially on this team. With the defensive-minded coach and the Todd Bowles, 3 phases of the game. Offense, defense, special teams. So do you think they're going to go after a Suh? I mean, I think it's a good problem. If you go after a Suh and then Akiem Hicks comes back, then you got rotation. I don't see it. I think they're going to go with Nacho. I think they're going to go with Logan Hall. What do you say? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go out to these comments. As always, Mr. Roger Shu, the tribal troll. Evans was wrong. I didn't say he was wrong, but he defended his quarterback. That's what you're not understanding. You're not listening. I understand the suspension's going to come down, but he had to defend his quarterback. What do you expect him to do? Not defend his quarterback? I told you what kind of team that is. That's the Chicago Bears. I'm sorry, it is. Let's go out. He's just not a smart human. Well, that's a terrible comment. Let's go out to Christopher Cole. Lattimore shoved a player in Atlanta. He does that. He's a talented player, but he's a guy that's going to get into your head. Has he the majority of the time dominated this matchup? Yeah, to a certain degree. He has shut Mike Evans down. It actually helped the Bucs out, believe it or not. You know, it kind of reminded me of a manager trying to fire up his team in baseball. You know, Joe Madden used to do it all the time. He wasn't getting the hitting production from his lineup. The next thing you know, he was jawing at an umpire about nothing, getting thrown out, pumping his team up. What happens after that? You lose a Pro Bowl corner like a Lattimore, who's given the Bucs everything they can handle out of the game. Of course, you lose to Mike Evans, but you have a Tom Brady who can make any wide receiver look that good. And you score 17 points. 17-7 after that. So it was actually a pretty good move. Christopher Cole, Khalil Davis. Is he still on this team? I'm not sure. I thought he was with Pittsburgh. We'll check that. Roger Shu was talking about Jameis. Again, you know, the decision-making is just not good. It's not good, and that's what's going to lose you games. We saw it here for what, 5 years? I mean, it doesn't help when you don't have your top running back in Kamara. It doesn't help. It doesn't help. Let's go out to Jeremiah. Who's this Nacho you speak of? Rakeem Roches Nunez. Nacho. That's who he is. He's been on this team for several years now. We've actually had his mother on here talking to him. So we will see how that works out, because that is a big injury at this point with Akiem Hicks. It is. It hurts this defensive line. Now, what are they going to do about it? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Not only the Akiem Hicks injury for the Bucs, but of course Josh Wells. So Brandon Walton most likely will start at left tackle on Sunday, which I thought the line did a pretty good job. I do. I thought they did a pretty good job of protecting Brady. Brady had some hits. It was not good in that first half. But some of you fans, you act like when the team doesn't score like 20 or 30 points every game, like it's the end of the world. I mean, you're talking about a one possession game at that point, right? What is it, like 3-3? I get it, the red zone opportunities, but the Bucs were dominating that game. They just weren't cashing in on those opportunities in the red zone. We talked about fourth down, how I don't know what the heck that was. That wasn't good blocking at all. And you get stopped on fourth down, and then you have the fumble, which is on Brady at that point. I mean, you get some points out of that. You get no points out of that. So it's not like they were being dominated. It's a tough defensive team. It's a tough game. It's a rival game. I get it. The Saints have mostly, the majority of the time, dominated, and that's why it's so sweet to get the victory.
How about them Bucs, baby?
All right, let's go out to Roger Shue here. Hicks got his yearly injury early this year. You know all too well about it. That was the main thing that we talked about when Hicks got signed. Could he stay healthy? The answer is no. Now, what is the impact of it? Guys got to step up. National Football League, injuries happen. Who's going to step up? Nacho's going to step up. Who's going to step up for this team? Logan Hall? You got to. Again, Cole Beasley signed today by the Bucs on the practice squad. Most likely will be elevated pretty soon. Once again, back-to-back years of 80 catches. I like the move a lot. He's 33 years old. It seems like he still has something left in the tank. Tom Brady wanted him because why? He's a dependable wide receiver. He's not flashy. He's not fast. He's not going to blow the top off of a defense. He's going to catch passes that he needs to catch. Tom Brady has confidence in him. Tom Brady doesn't have confidence in all the wide receivers on this team. You could see it. That's the reason why he signed. That's the reason why people assume that when Brady is talking to OBJ on the sidelines in New Orleans, that eventually OBJ is going to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. No matter if every wide receiver on this team is healthy, most likely it could happen. Why? Because OBJ loves the relationship that he has with Tom Brady and looks at Brady as a mentor. You can see it. And if you're OBJ, why wouldn't you want to come to Tampa and try to get a ring with this team? Tampa Bay right now, you look at the NFC overall, Green Bay, I get it. They're tough. We talked about that at the beginning of the season. We're going to see on Sunday how tough they are. As, once again, Aaron Rodgers owns the Chicago Bears. Sorry, Rodgers.
Yes!
All right, let's go out to David here. Or actually, let's go out to Tim. The Hicks injury isn't as big as Vita Vea injury in 2020, and we won the Super Bowl that year. And who filled in? Nacho. And other players. So, yeah, it's not the end of the world. It's not. Is he a big piece of what you do when it's predicated on pass rush, freeing up those guys like a Shaq Barrett, who, by the way, has been dominant? I get it, 2 games, but he's looking like a man possessed. And why? Because you got those 2 big hosses, as my uncle would say, in the middle. And when you have those 2 guys that are taking up those double and triple teams, they're going to free up the guys on the outside, like a Shaq Barrett. Let's see here. Came on late. Is Hicks out for the season? No, just a month. And again, it is a plantar. I guess it's a fasciitis. It's an injury on the foot. Okay. And basically how it's going to affect that is when you're trying to get that, that's you use your feet, try to get that step, that quick step. It's most likely going to hurt you. So he's going to be out for a month. I'm not a doctor. Don't play one on TV. Again, according to Adam Schefter on that. Let's go around the NFL just a little bit. Tell you what, let's go out to the phone lines. Before we do that, let's go out to Mr.
Acknowledge me.
Bible Troll from Newport Richie, Mr. Roger Shue. Welcome to the Evolution. What do you have to say, my friend?
The treble troll is in the house. All right. First of all, Peter Blake,
Yes.
it is called plantar fasciitis.
Plantar fasciitis. Okay, there you go. Now I can. The way I saw it, it wasn't spelled like that. So shame
One
on
of the
me.
most painful foot injuries that an athlete or any human being can have.
Well, I tell you right now, not only that, I've had a stress fracture before. Had a broken ankle when I was trying to play football. That didn't necessarily work out. So, and I've got flat feet. So I can just imagine most likely the guy's got flat feet. But once again, you're a defensive tackle. What you have to do is have that quick first step. And if you don't have that get off, if you will, because you have that injury, you're not going to be as effective.
Absolutely. Well, it looks like the Dream got his yearly injury out of the way early.
Okay.
So that's a good thing.
Sounds like you're being petty and bitter there because he used to be a
from
Bear.
Chicago, yes, he was.
Right.
And he had his yearly injury every year.
Right.
So about Jameis, yes, I was correct. He's just not a smart human being. His decisions in college, on the field and off, were crap, and they still are today.
Well,
He's
that
just
definitely
not good.
the turnovers definitely cost teams victories, and that's what he was
Absolutely.
able to eliminate last year, and this year he's not been able to eliminate it, and it cost him in this game.
I mean, granted, it's game 2. I mean, he's got time to get it, adjusted and
Sure he does.
get dialed in.
Sure.
But so don't write him off. They can whoop that butt the next game.
Sure they can. Absolutely. Absolutely
But
they
you can also have Brady come off and drop a 40 piece on him.
Well, I mean, again, it comes down to, getting healthy at this point, and the Bucs have not been healthy. And a lot of people have said they're concerned about the offense, but even with saying that, even with the red zone woes and all the injuries, this team is still 2-0. And, besides the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I mean, who do you think is a great team in the NFC right now? The Philadelphia Eagles? Okay, that's a fair assessment. With this defense, though, playing the way they do, what do they have? 10 sacks now? 10 sacks in 2 games? That's pretty good. 4 interceptions. So, that's what the defense wanted.
The NFC North is garbage.
Well, Minnesota showed that the other night, huh?
Exactly. The Packers look like crap. The Bears look like crap.
What happened to your Bears the other
division
night?
is trash.
What happened to your Bears the other night? Seeing as we're talking, what happened?
I'll tell you
What
exactly
happened?
It was bad play calling.
Okay.
Stupid penalties.
Okay.
And the referees took a touchdown away from Justin Fields at the goal line.
Now, that looked like that was questionable. That looked like he got over, but they did take that away. So
yes, they did.
I like some
And
of the
course,
things they did.
Again, we lose the game because they're in Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
They have to. Well, I'm not going to say that on the show. This is family friendly. But you know where I was going.
Correct.
They had to take care of Aaron Rodgers.
Well, and again, the Bears had a couple sacks there. Gibson showed out. He had a couple sacks. Robert Quinn.
Absolutely.
I still have questions about Aaron Rodgers and what he can do in this offense and his inability to face the Bucs.
No receivers.
Well, that's what happens, but we'll see what they do on Sunday because you're going to be against a tough defense. You're going to have Jamel Dean, who's had success before, versus an Aaron Rodgers, a Carlton Davis, who's definitely a top 10, if not a top 5 corner, and a pass rush.
He no longer has Adams to bail his butt out.
Well, there you go. So, but they do have a running game, and I will say that's probably the scariest aspect, and that does play into the Bucs' hands. But losing a Hicks, we'll see. Aaron Jones ran for 15 for 132, 1 touchdown. So, and then you got A.J. Dillon. So they have a 2-headed monster talking to a Green Bay fan tonight who I thought was going to call. That's probably the biggest challenge the Bucs are going to have is that running game. And then, of course, Aaron Rodgers. But we know how you beat Aaron Rodgers. Again, you get pressure on him. It's like any other quarterback. You get pressure on him, and you force him into things he doesn't necessarily want to do. So the last time the Chicago Bears beat Green Bay, When was that?
That was the night that they retired Brett Favre's jersey.
Wow. How long ago was that? Was that in 2000? Was that 2000? Was that 2010, 2011? Because it's afterwards.
I think it was 12.
Okay. I think you're right about that. 2012. Okay.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Been a minute. So you're feeling
like an hour.
You feeling encouraged by this Bears team? I mean, I like the win against the San Francisco 49ers, but
I see a lot of flashes, that I'm like, oh my God, that was great. And then I'm like, on the other side of the coin, I'm like, oh God.
Right.
I don't know. I'm thinking 7-10, 8-9. I don't know.
I thought they would have less
like
wins. I still think they necessarily have not set up Justin Fields to succeed. You look at his numbers on.
They will next year.
Sunday night.
They have $150 million to play with.
Yeah, but you hope they don't hurt him. That's the question. Can he
survive that long?
Right. Can he get through the season? That's exactly right. Okay. Exactly. What else? What are you surprised by the NFL this week?
This OBJ Tom Brady love fest. Where did this come from?
Well, this has been here. It's been here for the last couple of years. In fact, Jeff Darlington reported on this from ESPN, saying that he would not be surprised if OBJ eventually would end up, of course, with the Bucs, and the Bucs decided to go with Antonio Brown instead of OBJ. Keep Antonio Brown, and OBJ, of course, went on with the Rams last year and won a Super Bowl before he got hurt in the game.
Yeah.
But he was a big time impact for him. So that's always been the talk.
I think you talked about this earlier, but what are your thoughts on them signing Cole Beasley?
I like it. I like the move. I mean, I think the guy still has something left in the tank. He's never been.
What did they get him for cheap? I mean, they know he's in the practice squad, so they must have got him for cheap.
I mean, they got him for cheap. He got a receiver that the last 2 years had 80 receptions. I mean, how do you go wrong with that?
You can't. I
That's
think it was a brilliant move.
That's it. He's a Tom Brady type of wide receiver. He's a dependable wide receiver. He's nothing flashy. He's going to run the right route. He's going to be in the right place. Even though he doesn't know this offense, I think, they'll have a playbook and they'll have plays for him.
He doesn't need to. He's got Tom Brady throwing to him.
Well,
Brady just go get open and, I'll hit you.
We talked about at the beginning of it, the Tom Brady went all Britney Spears. Cole Beasley was on his radar. So there you go. On his radar.
Here's my last thing.
Yes.
Are they going to suspend or fine Bruce Arians for his role?
No. Why? Why should they do that? Why would they suspend?
Why was he on the field?
Because he wasn't on the field. He was on the sideline, and he's a consultant.
Okay, same thing.
He has every right to
be in the press box.
You act like he's like a fan now or something. He's still a part of the Tampa Bay Buccaneer organization.
Yeah, I know. He's like in a whatever.
Okay, so he's still got emotion.
He should have been in the press box.
Well, they didn't have seating supposedly, and the Bucs didn't want to sit up there. I mean, I wasn't there. I don't know. I'm listening to
Arians probably told Mike Evans to go out there and bust him in his face.
Okay, and this is coming against a team that was guilty of bounty gates. So what? I'm serious. Like, I didn't like the move at first, and then I think about it. It's the right move you have to make. You have to have your boys back. You got to have Tom Brady's back. Tom Brady talked about it.
Yeah.
Right. So, what's the big deal?
No
you think
problem with
BA is going to be suspended? Why should BA be suspended?
I think he should be fined.
For what?
He was in the middle of it.
Well,
he
then
told
you got
Mike Evans to go out and do it.
Then you got to find Lattimore. You got to find the other kid.
They should all have been fined and suspended.
But they weren't.
Every last one of them.
But they weren't. So what's your point?
Why not?
I don't know. I don't run the National Football League.
You're the football god. You're supposed to know.
I don't know the inner workings of the NFL. I don't understand some of the disciplinarian reasons or some of the decisions they come to. I don't understand why Alvin Kamara isn't suspended this year after what happened at the Pro Bowl. Can somebody explain that to me? I have no idea.
Why would he be suspended?
Because him and his boys beat the hell out of somebody during the Pro Bowl. It's called code of conduct. Every player has to adhere to it.
First of all, it was not Alvin Kamara. It was his boys, his security, and his
He was a part of it, was he not?
He was there. He
was a part of it. He did take place in
that. Means he's guilty by association.
He still is guilty. He's still under that code of conduct, is he not?
Not when he had no part of it.
No, you didn't answer the question. Yes, he was. He was guilty by association. He did take part in it.
He did not do anything.
He did take part in it, though. It's on video.
He was there.
Okay. He was still taking part in it, and it's a code of
Free
conduct.
Kamara, free Deshaun.
Oh, shut up! Be quiet. You were doing so good, and then you had to go there. All right, so finish up.
Have a good night, man.
All right.
See you in the morning.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Right.
Good stuff there. Let me go ahead and acknowledge.
Acknowledge me.
That's I don't know what he's saying. All right, let's go out to. I wonder. Okay, we read that comment. Thanks, Chris Tavares, for tuning in to the evolution here on I Love St. Pete. Let's go out to Jim. What's good, Peter H. Blake? What's good with you, buddy? How you doing?
How about them Bucs, baby?
I mean, the Bucs are 2-0. You haven't called. Damn it, Jim. Well, why haven't you called the phone line? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Guess you guys are wondering why I've been going earlier, haven't you? Well, because supposedly I've been waking up the neighbors with my bring your passion, bring your excitement, just don't bring any nonsense, and also the roommates. So we had to go a little bit earlier at this point. That's the reason why we're going 8:30 now. We may go 8 o'clock. I don't know. It depends. We got lots of people watching right now, so maybe this is working out into my favor. Maybe you guys don't like those late night shows at 11:30, 12:30 at night, 1 o'clock, which is what I tried to get away with about a week ago. That didn't work out too well at all. All right, so let's go out to David here. I never seen so many players injured so fast before, only in the second game of the season. And half the offense, huge key defensive players are out for multiple games. What is going on? It's the National Football League, my friend. Injuries are a part of the game. There have always been injuries there. With this thing with Hicks, we knew that he's always been injured. That was the big time, point of emphasis. A lot of people didn't like the move at the time. They wanted to keep Sue because he was able to stay healthy. That was the big key. He's out for a month, but he's always been hurt the last couple of years. Julio Jones has always been hurt. Chris Godwin is coming off an injury. He has an injury history. Mike Evans has an injury history. So, guys don't stop getting hurt. They have an injury history. It happens in the National Football League. Are there more happening? I don't know. I don't know the statistics on that. I do know it's a faster game. I know it is, a much faster game, a more physical game, if you will, even though you have some of the rules there. Guys are faster and bigger. You're also, putting in weight training and stuff like that. That has all this stuff has an impact. Again, I'm not about to sit here and tell you I know the inner workings of an NFL player. I'd be fooling myself. I don't. I'm not an NFL player. Never been an NFL player. Not even close to an NFL player. I just talked about breaking my ankle playing middle school football. I mean, that's the last time I played football. Some guys are meant to play the game. Some guys are meant to talk about it. And that's why we have the evolution of sports talk television. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go out to Pig Dog Video 2001. Peter, do the Acclaimed beat Swerve and the glory for the tag team titles tomorrow at AEW Grand Slam? Great question. I don't know. I have not really been keeping up with AEW besides of the drama that has happened with, of course, CM Punk and, of course, the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. I'm not sure. They may. I mean, you would think they're over at this point, right? They're over. You would think that they would win. Who knows what AEW is going to do? I think their booking has been very questionable lately. And I think their booking is taking a step back, compared to WWE. Which, by the way, AEW released Malachi Black. It looks like he's headed back to WWE. Shocker. His wife's there, Selena. So, I mean, that's not a shocker. And he sees Triple H that's in charge that basically made his career in NXT. So, he's going back there after having 4 years. I don't know what's going on with AEW right now. There's a little bit of chaos. There's also intrigue. Is this a work? Is this a shoot? What is it? It's not good if it's true. Because if you have a divided locker room and, CM Punk and other wrestlers that are basically in charge, and you have, the guys running the asylum, if you will, it's not a good thing. But I guess it's good for a wrestling fan at this point. I'll tell you what, let's go out to Damn It Jim. Jim Sutton from Ohio. What do you have to say? Bucs 2-0. They beat the Saints 20-10. Your thoughts? Welcome to the Evolution.
Yeah, how you doing?
Good, buddy. Long time no hear. What's going on?
Oh, nothing. Trying to stay busy.
Nothing. Staying busy. What do you mean you're staying busy? What are you staying busy with?
Working. You gotta drive them trucks all across the country.
Okay, so you're a truck driver. So how many times a year do you get off, or do you ever get off? I mean, what? Go ahead and take us into the mind of Damn It Jim Sutton here with the truck driving and how you're able to watch football on a Sunday.
Oh, I try to get stopped on football season.
Okay. All right. So how
Okay.
does that work out? Do you have a boss? Do you have bosses you answer to? I mean, go ahead. Come on, take me inside this here. Come on, explain being a truck driver.
That call you, that's their managers, and they basically help you get your loads and get where you're going.
Okay.
But you're supposed to work for yourself. I'm gonna put the quotations up. But you just run.
Jim, I might have a job for you. I might know somebody that actually lives here that actually needs somebody to take loads from the truck. I may have to talk to you off air. Are you cool with that?
Yeah, I'm
all right. I'll make you some extra money here. Now tell me, how much money was that Tampa Bay Buccaneer team on Sunday?
You said how much did I make?
No, how much money was that Tampa Bay Buccaneer team versus the Saints on Sunday? What did you think about that Bucs team? What did you think about that win versus the Saints?
I'm glad we got it done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Tom Brady seemed frustrated out there.
Well, it seemed like he was frustrated until the fourth quarter happened, right?
You got the job done. I don't know. He started fussing at the referees and everybody getting into it with him. Are we going to not suspend the Saints player? We're just going to suspend Mike Evans?
Well, I mean, that's been the big time question tonight, and I don't understand what the NFL is looking at this point. Why isn't Lattimore and the other players suspended at this juncture? I don't understand it. I don't know where
you going to suspend. You might as well
suspend them all. You can't suspend Tom Brady because he just jawed. He didn't throw any punches. He's not going to throw any punches. But of course, Evans pushed down Lattimore. It looked like Lattimore swung at Fournette. The other player took down Evans. I mean, I don't understand why they're not suspended at this point. Somebody has to point it out to me how that's fair. And it's not.
Yeah, I'm lost on that one too.
Right. So what do you think about this defense? You excited about them?
Oh yeah, looking real good already.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can keep it up.
What about the signing today of Cole Beasley? You like that signing?
Sure. Is that defense or offense?
Cole Beasley is a wide receiver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna need him. Everybody out for some reason. It hurt.
Well, it hurt. Injuries a part of the game. Chris Godwin coming off an injury. He's got an injury now again, and it's not the same one. Thank God for that. It's a hamstring, but that could be a lingering issue. You got Julio Jones, who has an injury, hamstring injury. So, you hope that you can get all these wide receivers back because they will be a dynamic offense.
One wide receiver because all the number ones was hurt.
Well, there you go.
And the close number twos.
Exactly. Well, that's the reason why you got to get a Cole Beasley. What about Akiem Hicks? How much of a loss is that, you're thinking? And do you like Sue? Should they sign Sue, or should they go with what they have there in a Nacho?
I think they can get by with Nacho until Akiem Hicks get himself together.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, because Nacho, he get in there and get in there too. So.
All right. Well.
But I mean, they got rid of Sue, so I don't know why would you bring them back for a little bit.
Well, you never know. You never know with this team. You really don't. But I think they're going to go in-house. I think they're going to go with the players they have. There's a reason why you drafted Logan Hall in the first place. You got to see if the kid can play. It does lower your rotation down a little bit. It takes away from your rotation when losing a Hicks. You're getting back in a month. For me, get through these next two games, and then after that, the schedule becomes a little bit easier. As crazy as that sounds, because we've known that it's not what's on paper. You got to play the games, but it's going to be a little bit easier than these next 2 games, these first 4 games of the season. So if you can get through that stretch, I think the Bucs will be okay. Anything else?
We playing Green Bay next.
Green Bay next this Sunday.
That's
Sunday afternoon. Yes, sir.
It should be a shootout.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if it's a shootout. This way the defense is played, I don't know if it's going to be a shootout. This may be a low-scoring game. A lot of people want to say a shootout. I don't know. I think the Bucs defense will have something to say. And to be honest, Green Bay's defense played pretty well versus Chicago, although it's Chicago. They didn't play that well versus Minnesota. Yeah, exactly. All right. Anything else, bud?
Man, yeah, I hope our defense, that secondary was looking rich, so I hope they keep it up.
You like Jamel Dean and those 2 interceptions on Sunday?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, pretty good. Pretty good. Well, he's a free agent. We'll see if the Bucs sign him or not.
And Junior back there in the back.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
Yep. Antoine Winfield and making plays. And you got Logan Ryan, who's been a big time signing. I haven't heard anything from Sean Murphy Bunting at this point. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, it's looking tough. And we got that defensive head coach now, the Bowles out there.
Yeah. You like him better than BA?
I mean, BA down there on the sideline talking, so
he's still coaching, right?
I mean, yeah, he real close to the sideline.
Yeah.
People go upstairs, sit down somewhere.
Why? Why does everybody feel like that? Why are you gonna send BA upstairs for?
I mean, I like BA, but he can't be down there yelling at the refs.
So you agree with Harry? What Harry had to say here in the first segment? He believes that Todd Bowles should.
What if they throw a flag and he ain't even a coach? He an assistant.
Well,
so he needs to be upstairs.
All right. Good stuff, Jim. Coming strong to the mic. Let me go ahead and give you the Byron Leftwich.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Let me give you the Rick Flair. Appreciate the call. Don't be a stranger and don't work too hard, all right? Be safe.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. There you go. A truck driver right there, which is always a tough job. I'm going to get back with him. I think I got him some work. Here to help you out. Not just talk sports, but also provide you with jobs and also, maybe some education along the way, some entertainment too. Make you smile. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Go 8 to 10. We shall see. Don't want to wake up these neighbors, so I'll probably be off here in about 5 minutes because I don't want to hear complaints from the roommates. Live in a good situation. Don't want to make them mad. Don't want to make anybody mad at this point. Seems like I've been doing that a lot lately. Uh-oh. Akiem, 100 wins titles, 100% wins titles tomorrow night. Black has no compete clause. I believe Punk out 9 months. Yeah, Punk was out with a torn tricep, so that's been decided. I think that's probably the best thing that has happened. Because if he were still healthy, then I think you would have some division in that locker room. Not saying you still don't, but now that he's not going to be on television, now he's going to be out with an injury. As great as he is, and as much as I want to see him take on MJF, because I think that's the match that everybody wants to see for the title, it's not going to happen for a while. And I'm kind of glad for it. Now we'll see what they do with how to book this title. Which, by the way, I don't believe they've decided who won the title yet, right? Is it Mox or it's not Mox? No, it's not Mox. I believe it's Mox versus Daniel Bryan tomorrow night. So we'll try to get off so you can watch that match because we do talk wrestling on this show. Miss my guys Mark Mancini and the bodyguard of the Berg, Mr. Ralph Williams there. We'll try to get those guys on. Had some tech issues. Let's go around the NFL really quick and then we will call it a night. We already talked about the debacle of what happened last night, but the Buffalo Bills look like a team that is for real. Not only a Josh Allen, because you expect that. I mean, you could see some of that happening last year. He was one of the top young quarterbacks. You saw the show he put on with Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. 26 for 38, 317, 4 touchdowns. I think probably the most surprising thing was the defense getting after it. Von Miller, Jordan Phillips. They've had injuries to Ed Oliver. I mean, they're not fully there, and that defense was dominant last night, in my opinion. Shut down Derrick Henry. By the way, thanks a lot, Derrick Henry, for not showing up the first 2 games of the season. You have cost me 2 wins in fantasy football. Yes, I do care about my fantasy football team and your fantasy football team. Decided tomorrow night, MJF cashes in on the winner to become the champ. That is certainly possible as he won. I guess it was the casino. And like I said, I've been keeping up, but I haven't been keeping up. So yes, he does have that in his back pocket. Eagles beat the Vikings last night, 24-7. Jalen Hurts, really impressive. 26-31, 333, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And then also on the ground, 11 for 57. They're a tough team. They're a very tough team now with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, of course, Miles Sanders. If he can stay healthy, knock on wood for them, they become very dynamic and the defense can get after it. Vikings last night, Kirk Cousins, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Not good. How about the Cincinnati Bengals? We talked about this earlier. I think this is probably one of the most disappointing teams in the league this year. They lose to the Dak Prescott-less Cowboys 20-17 in this game. 6 sacks, a total of 13 sacks already given up by this Bengal offensive line, which you spent all this money and you're just not getting it done. Burrow's numbers for the season: 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and 33 for 53. I get it, you're throwing the ball, but we know the emphasis on when you become one-dimensional, bad things can happen. Of course, Cincinnati got down early in this game, and of course, they had to claw their way back. Other news and notes: San Francisco lost Trey Lance for the year to a brutal broken ankle. So now Jimmy Garoppolo led the 49ers to a win over Seattle. Good thing they kept him. Disappointing to a lot of fans out there because Trey Lance is a young player. You haven't seen a lot of them, and you're not going to get a chance to see a lot of them. But a smart move by John Lynch to keep Garoppolo around, because if you don't, who knows who you have at that point starting at the quarterback situation. This was a week of comebacks and includes the Arizona Cardinals being down 23-7 in the fourth quarter. They lose to Arizona 29-23. Looks like Max Crosby has Kyler Murray in the back for a sack. Somehow Murray escapes, and this is the reason why you pay this guy a lot of money. Say whatever you want to about his attitude, but his skills were on display on Sunday. It was splendid. 31 for 49, 277, 1 touchdown. Of course, they get a fumble recovery to end it. Let's go ahead and read these comments really quick, and we'll get back to it. Get back in the wrestling game. Bay. Adam Cole back tomorrow night. Let's go out to Jim. I tell you something about BA he did when I was in the Super Bowl, so he has the right to be down there. But I want to my God songs, football game, got excited watching the game, got on the sidelines with the coaches. They said, get off the sideline. The coaches can handle this. So BA should do the same thing. Go upstairs, watch it. If he wants to talk to the coaches, he could still do that. All right, good stuff. I'll go ahead and give you the Byron Leftwich, I guess.
How about them Bucs, baby?
I disagree, but I understand where you're coming from. He's not a parent, though. He's a consultant. I mean, he's not like a parent of, yes, parents don't belong on the sidelines. A lot of people don't believe that BA. But why has this become an issue? Well, it's become an issue because it's put out there by Mike Florio. It's been an issue because there was a melee afterwards. So that's the reason why it's become an issue. But there have been other football personnel that have been on the sidelines, namely owners. I understand the point, though. They're not yelling at football players. Surprising to me, Jacksonville, 24-0 over the Colts. Indianapolis Colts have been absolutely awful. 0-1-1. They're lucky they're not 0-2, 0-2, if you will. Matt Ryan, 16 for 30, 195, 3 interceptions. And I was on the Matt Ryan train thinking that he would be the guy that would solidify the quarterback position. Not so much. So with that being said, we are going to wrap it up here for another edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, because it is getting late. We will change the times up. I will promise you that, and we'll make it happen here tomorrow night with Dennis Phillips of ABC Action News. We'll just end it here. I'm not going to give you the bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I don't want to wake anybody up. So, guys, have a great night, and thanks a lot for tuning in to the evolution of Sports Talk Television.